Welcome. You're tuned into Life is a Sacred Journey. Every week, we bring a new perspective to aging and caregiving. Here is your host, Michelle Pope.
It is 8 o'clock on the nose. I am so excited to be with you here this Friday morning. One, because it means I'm still alive and on this side of the wonderful thread of life, and I'm with you. So welcome to Life is a Sacred Journey. I am your host, person, guide, Michelle Pope, and it is a pleasure to have you here this morning. Please subscribe, hit the share button, comment. Our topic this morning is so amazing. As you all know, I am an animal lover. Love them all, and love being in nature to see animals. I never have liked seeing them in a zoo or anything like that because I don't think that's their natural state, and so therefore I have never appreciated zoos. But I do appreciate those spaces where animals can go to, get help and support. Like I love, excuse me, the Monterey, the place down there in Monterey that helps the sea otters and all the animals that get caught in wire and propellers of boats, and they heal them and help them with their infections and things, and then release them back into the ocean and so that they can live their best lives, because nothing does well when it's caged. So I want to tell you a little bit about our guest this morning. And as I do that, as always is the customary here, custom at Life is a Sacred Journey, we're going to admit Miki Jacobs from the green room, the virtual green room. And shout out to Felicia. Felicia is visiting her family in Moldova. And so a shout out to them there, and they made it safely after a long trip. And she made it to the arms of her family, her forest, her husband. They're just there being family together. And speaking with her yesterday, or whenever, yesterday, I think, I just can't wait to meet her family someday. I can't wait to make that trip to Moldova. But let's get started with this morning's topic. So good morning to, I think you say Moldovan. I think that's how you say it. To my Moldovan family, I love you, and I thank you for the honor of loving Felicia and having her on my life journey with me. So Miki Jacobs is an internationally acclaimed medium, speaker, and author whose life journey has been a remarkable one, beginning with a conservative Jewish upbringing, serving in the Israeli army, and later establishing a successful business in the United States. She's had many diverse experiences in her life that have greatly contributed to her discovery of spirituality and profoundly influenced her spiritual path. Using her ability to connect with the spirit world, Miki has conducted thousands of readings around the globe through channeling, lectures, social media outlets, group readings, video, and print. Including her first book, Soul Secrets, Miki presents the teachings of spirits to people around the world. Don't get scared. Don't get nervous. It's all good stuff. Alongside her husband, Clayton, Miki has devoted 2 decades to the noble cause of rescuing animals on their Southern California ranch. It is this profound love for both animals and her spiritual work that has inspired her to write her latest book, Sacred Wild, The Spiritual World of Animals, including pets and its interconnectedness with others. So please join me in saying welcome to Miki Jacobs, and just welcoming her to Life is a Sacred Journey. Good morning, Miki. Welcome to Life is a Sacred Journey. There you
are. Good morning. I got panicky.
I know. It's like the buttons, all the buttons.
Exactly. And then you're all shaking. And oh, thank you for the lovely introduction, and thank you for having me.
Oh, I'm really excited about having you here. One, because I do feel a strong connection with, I believe in the Genesis story. And so because of that, being not a steward, but a companion with the universal creation, to me is an incredible thing. I have a connection to nature, trees and all of that. But animals, to me, and you can tell us a little bit, but animals to me, because they have some of the same functionality that we do as humans, meaning we can see their eyes, they make noise, so we can hear whether the sound has an octave of pain or joy. And then for me, because I'm a dog lover, I intimately have lived with dogs that have lived long lives with me and then left me. And I also know the grief that I felt in losing them was just as strong and lasted just as long as any grief that I've had for any human that has left my life along the journey. So having you here this morning really speaks to my life and my spirit. So welcome, Miki, and thank you for rescuing. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I can't tell you how that is one of my dreams, that when I retire, that I don't know how many I can rescue. I've rescued 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 at a time, but I want a place where I can rescue and really give them a place to love and a place to love. So welcome to Life is a Sacred Journey.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's such a heartwarming to hear someone love animals as much. Obviously, I can connect to everything. And yes, we're very blessed to have enough acreage here where we rescue. So currently we have 22 animals.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so all kind, and of course all rescue. So yeah, it's important to me to always bring up interviews right off the bat is the concept of the soul within animals, because really that is the base or the foundation, which why it was my first chapter in Sacred Wild, is to bring it up because it gives the broader perspective of how unbelievable they are, how much broaden your spiritual journey, and more so how they are, the most important message for me, equal to us human beings. So that is important. So if you'd like me, I can start with that, or you can.
I really appreciate your saying that, because I again, I'm going to go to my relationship, the closer, the more intimate relationship that I've had with dogs, and when one has left before the others, I see them cry. I see them mourn. I see them not want to eat. I see them looking at the bed where their fellow dog or partner or whatever lived, and I see them looking at me, trying to figure out what had happened, basically. What has happened. So when you speak of soul, a lot of people only think of that as a human construct. And so I agree with you. So, but explain to us when you soul, and when we talk about it as it relates to the beautiful creation of animals.
Of course. So, of course, to discuss the soul is we have to understand the concept of the creator, of the creator as a supreme energy that reside within everything and everyone. Obviously, all life forms, which will include human beings, of course, all animals, so we refer to it as a soul, can be called spirit, can be called higher self. There's a lot of different words. And of course, his energy also reside within all of nature. Sometimes we can call it chi or consciousness. Again, those are just words. So the way it goes is that the creator kind of divided itself to have a little bit of his energy reside within all living living being. And of course, it is the energy of God or the soul that sustain the form. So in that respect, human beings and animals have a soul, which is a part of God within our body. Because the soul is part or extension or a fragment or a small part of God, the soul have its characteristic, if you will. So what does that mean? It means that within us inherit a great power, the power of God through the soul. So it means that it allows us wisdom, spiritual powers, ability, again, because human soul and animal soul are interconnected with the Creator, therefore we are equal. The only difference between a soul that resides within an animal form and a soul that resides within a human form is, first of all, the common sense that human beings have one species, while animals have different species. But again, the only difference is that the soul of a human being expresses itself through a form of a human being. So essentially, the goals of souls on planet Earth is to utilize the form to express our God-like essence through experiences. Of course, every incarnation, we incarnate into a different lifetime. So that is the ultimate goal of our souls, to kind of a little bit be more like God. So human souls would express itself to the human form, and our beloved animals, every soul would express itself through the form in which the soul incarnate, whether a wild animal, whether a pet, whether it's a dog, whether it's a cat, and express itself. So it was important for me in the book to bring up that because we are a part of God, they are certainly not secondary to us, or certainly not as equal to us, and certainly not as powerful. So when you were describing right now that when their sibling or their companion cross over and they appear sad, yes. However, it's very important, which why I always talk about first, is that they have the God within their body. So therefore, I would even use the phrase that animals have in a lot of aspect more power than us. Of course, human beings have the mind, which can do a lot of things, and of course, animals are different. But what the soul of animal allow animal to do is to easily see spirit. And the reason for that, we can also see spirit. I do not believe by no means that I have a special gift as a medium. I believe we all inherit with that ability because we all have a soul within the body. Obviously, a human form is a much more complex. We have the ego, which refers to an energy within the body. We have the mind that think. Animals don't have that. Animals do not have an ego because the ego creates with the utilizing of human being free will to intentionally cause harm. Animals might protect themselves or their offspring, but they do not intentionally they cannot. That's not their nature. They do not, right. So they do not intentionally cause harm. And therefore, animals do not accumulate the ego. Because they lack of ego, all animals, any animals, what's happened through that is that their soul in the body more easily can shine through the personality. Because there is no ego, as human beings, we need to work on it. Not one lifetime, many lifetimes. We need to quiet the mind and meditate in order to align ourselves within the soul to allow it to shine through. Animals don't. That's why when you look at them, they live in the present moment. That's why they're so calm. That's why. So in that respect, that's why they are able to express unconditional love. Not like us. We might love the people in our life, but it is conditional sometimes. So, it is conditional. So the soul of animals therefore align within their body and therefore easily shine through their beautiful personalities. One thing they have that we don't. Another thing they have, again, they're able to see spirit. So indeed, even when they lose their sibling, when one of their siblings pass away, they see them, they see departed loved one, they see spirit guide, they see angels, because again, their soul attached, quote, or aligned with their personality. The power of animals, more specifically pets, are unbelievable. They can protect us, they're unbelievable. So in that respect, that's the equality they have with us, or even better to some respect.
Yeah, I love this because we are here at Alzheimer's Services of the East Bay. We have participants, people that come to our program, and they have some form of dementia. And there's a program called Connected Horse, and they work with our participants and they have stables, and they go to be with the horses. Now, the connection between the horse and the person that has the cognition, the cognition decline, whatever,
Yes.
and other humans, because I go and I'm so connected. There's one horse that me and that horse, I don't know what's going on between
Oh,
but I love that horse. The horse loves me. When we see each
yeah.
other, we are excited.
Oh,
But that connection is so amazing because the horse, this huge horse, you know, that actually if it fell on you could kill you, right?
yes.
With a person with dementia, you see the horse even calm itself because it understands that
Yes.
the soul of this individual, and I'm gonna use a word that I don't like very much, but that it has it's frail in some ways
Yes.
compared to
Yes.
the power that this
Yes.
DNA of this animal has at that moment. And
Yes.
when you see it, and then their heartbeats align, after a while, the heartbeat of the horse aligns with
Yes.
the individual. Oh, that is
Yes.
so amazing.
Yes.
And I never really understood it. I've always loved horses. Again, I'm an animal lover. I love every animal, even the creepy crawly ones, you know, every
Yes.
um I don't want them in my house, but I love
Yes.
them. And to see that is what you're talking about. It's not flesh to flesh. Because see,
Yes.
we deal in the flesh, right? So
Right.
flesh. It's
Right.
this thing that spirit,
Right.
you know, that is connecting. And when the person with the dementia who begins to calm, oh,
Mm.
Miki, their caregivers look at that and they just see, they either say things like, oh my God, there she is, meaning
Oh,
they've overcome for a moment, you know, I mean, it's
yes.
dementia is real.
Yes.
They've overcome it for a moment
Right.
to be in their true
Right.
essence. And
Yes. Yes. Because you see, the dementia is kind of, the mind is a little bit disconnected now. So the
yeah,
mind does not affect the personality as much, unfortunately said, but that's what it is.
yeah, but I
So
know what you mean. Yeah.
right, so therefore the soul shine through again. So yeah, so that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
But the animals are amazing. Another powerful thing I forgot to mention about animals, that they're able to read our mood. If we depressed, if we sad, if we dying, you know, walking, volunteer in the hospital, and they bring those animals, and the animals, certainly cats are very kind of tuned into that. So amazing, amazing as
Oh,
to their, yeah.
Miki, it was in 2016, I had a bout of cancer, not stage 4, anything like that, something that could be
Yeah.
removed and I could be treated. But
Mm.
but my dog knew it before my
Yes.
kids. And
Yes.
how what you're saying is just
Yes.
so true,
Yes.
that Alpha, who
Yes.
has passed on, Alpha never
No.
left my side. And the way he
Yes.
looked at me was
Yes.
as if he knew, which I believe he did, that something
Yes.
was wrong. And he kept sniffing me and licking me
Oh.
uh,
Mm.
in a way like he was trying to help me to heal. And
Yes. Yes.
I there's people that I know that don't, you know, I know there's somebody that's going to come across this and go, ooh, these people are crazy. But I know it
Yeah.
to be true. I know it to be.
Right. 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 See,
Yeah.
once we understand that concept, that indeed that they have that power within the soul, we start looking for it. You know, it's like spiritual concepts. If you close to it, kind of like signs from departed pet or departed loved ones. If you're not open for it, you won't know what to look for. Once you're open to the concept, they're everywhere. We got the point.
So that
So yeah, so very good point.
I love it. The human spirit though is aligned with the connection, and it's our I guess the way we live our lives, the busyness, and now we're in this century where, my gosh, I don't know, but that's a whole nother
Yes,
thing.
yes,
We're in this time where we're so busy that we've also, what I see, created substitutes with our pets. Like we want them to behave in ways that are more human-like than
right,
allowing the natural,
right,
I don't know what, the natural order of that
right,
of that animal to be. Am
right.
I imagining that, or is that true?
It is true, and we're really raining on our parade. Let them be pets. That's what we want. The world is upside down, and they're the one that can teach us more. So I absolutely agree. Absolutely. Also, believing that there are divine essence within their body, authentically believing to that would cause us to respect them more. Again, like we were mentioning, we kind of see bits and pieces of things. So yeah, they really, really are amazing. And unfortunately, over the years, coming through clients or people in my life that they really think that they are secondary to us. And if you think you, a human being, a person, think they're secondary, then the disrespect come. So
Mhm.
they're just animals essentially. So they even using their ability to let the animal go way premature before the animals, meaning the animals. How many pets people we know that pets can continue living? We cannot do that. They're so unbelievably precious. So that is why it's important to me to say is that they are really the mission in our life, pets are, and wild animals to the planet, so important, and they should be cherished like human kids. I honestly do not believe that there is any difference, like you were mentioning at the beginning, Michael, when you were saying that when they die, when they go home, the pain is so severe. So yeah. So again, is my main one of my main teaching is to indeed realize how valuable they are.
That pain is like
That
I
is,
mourned Alpha for, I still do from time to time.
oh,
I look at
yes,
his ashes and because they're at the house, and I think, it's just like, I know there's people again who will watch this and go, whatever, but all my pets will be
yes,
buried, their ashes will be buried with my
yes.
ashes in a tree that I
Oh,
purchased,
yes,
because
yes,
I didn't want to just throw them away. They had
yes,
already been thrown away in life by
yes,
people hurting them and being
yes,
in shelters and
yes,
uh,
very much so. Yes,
and I just really felt that. And I know I said that to somebody, and they said, "Well, that costs you money." And I said, "Yes, but the amount of love that these animals gave me
yes,
once I rescued
yes,
them,
yes,
there is
yes. Yeah,
there's
yeah.
no amount of money
Right,
that would keep me from ensuring that from beginning, from when
right.
they began their
Yeah,
life with
yeah.
me to the end, right? It's
Right. Well, when we get the dog or the pets, no matter what age,
does
this
no
is
matter, yeah.
it doesn't matter. This is the commitment we have with them, and therefore we remain loyal to them until the last minute. People say, I don't have money. I said, then borrow it or go to vets that take payments or whatever it is. There are plenty of beautiful organizations there that can help. In regard to the grief, again, it's all about being open to the spiritual concept of a soul, not just within the body, soul, meaning that our true nature is immortal, multi-dimensional being, and therefore the time of death, once the physical body died, the soul beautifully and peacefully exit the body from the crown chakra at the top of the head, animals or people, and travel back home to the heavenly dimension of the spirit world. So again, like we mentioned in science, if you don't believe in that, if you think that the ashes is it, or if you bury the pet, this is it, then obviously the grief would be more severe. So again, my recommendation to viewer here is to look into a little bit more the spiritual concept of the soul leaving the body, going to the spirit world, accompany us from spirit, protecting us from spirit, spirit. And in many years, whenever our time comes to go home, our pets will greet us back.
No, I'm excited. So why do you think we're afraid of spirit? Like why do people have a visceral negative, it's a negative feeling, but is it because religion? I always figure, and I'm a spiritual person. I practice a denominational faith, all of that. But I'm also open to the mystery of it all, the wonder of it all, the magic of it all.
Yes.
But I know there are people that get really nervous when you start talking about spirit. And why is that? Have we convinced them it's all dark and ugly? And I mean, what's going on with that?
First of all, and from actually a personal experience, and of course, with all due respect to religion, all religion, I grew up in a somewhat Orthodox Jewish home back from Israel. So I'm familiar. So what's happened with religion, there are way too many rules and regulations that I believe was written by human beings, a lot of it. While spirituality have great simplicity, it's beautiful. It's God's energy that permeates and resides within everything, including ourselves. So if you grew up with a religion, of course, I went some 3,000 miles away. So as I came to the US, religion, frankly, did not make sense to me anymore. It just didn't. The rules, regulations, so spirituality was a natural way for me to develop ability to communicate with spirit and went through there. But if you indeed still within religions, which is fine to some people, of course, then it's more rigidity. There's more rules, there's more regulations. Some religion believe in the soul in the body, some don't. Some very vague about it, some it's only in human. So a lot of it is that. A lot of the fear of soul has to do with the way people grow up, whether parents don't want to bring pets to the kids, unfamiliar with kids, certainly don't see them as a divine being. So that could be that direction. A lot of people do not believe in a higher power, absolutely not, do not believe. And if there's no higher power, the whole concept of a soul, certainly within the animals, out the window. So there's a lot of reasons for that. That's why spirituality is beautiful. There are, of course, rules to spirituality. Although the creator have his magical creation, there's rules, there's karma, there's incarnation, there is spirituality-based things to remain kind to ourselves, to others, to the planet, so there is, but it's soft. The more soft you are, meaning the more spiritual you are, the more open you are to the concept of the energy reside within their body. And that's when, like you just said, open a whole new beautiful world.
So, and acceptance of, and I move through many, many circles, as I'm sure you do as well. And I find sometimes that the rigidness of certain people, where their way is the only way, and what they have learned, with never the possibility of questioning it.
Yes.
And I'm not saying, for those of you that are probably out there now with a brick wanting to throw it at me, that your religious practices are something that you should stop. I'm not saying that, because it's your right to do what you want to do. But what I'm saying is, when you become so rigid and so thinking that everything that you believe is 100% all the way true, without even being able to give testimony to its validity.
Yes. Yes.
I question that, because the reason I believe in certain things is because I've lived through them, and I have the testimony of those things, those manifestations in my life. I choose denominational faith just because I need that I like that ministry fellowship, but it doesn't mean that everything that I have learned in those environments, that I believe they are true.
Right. The spirituality also kind of prove itself to us.
Yes.
Because the more we meditate, the more we stay open to receptive. We actually, frankly, I use the phrase, feel the bliss of God. So there is a lot of similarity between religion and that, absolutely. And
Yeah.
in regard to your point, it is delightful to go to church and praise God and sing. I go insane.
Yeah. Yeah. I
It's
love the
beautiful,
music.
just expressing the love. But again, it's just the rules and regulation that really, if one should look carefully, it's a little bit more judgmental, exclusive, a little bit more harsh, so that doesn't really quite make sense. So, but again, it's a transition. It took me a long time to went from religion to spirituality, probably around the age of 33, 34. But once you do that, again, that whole world opened for you beautifully. So essentially, we get our proof. This is not just talk. This is actually proof that once you quiet the mind, you're open to different things and different possibilities. So yeah, it is not just a word, spirituality, it's a feeling.
No, no. And animals, the other thing you talked about wild animals is, when we say wild, we just mean non animals that have not been domesticated.
Correct.
That's
Right.
really because they're not wild.
Right.
We give these animals terms and people terms that it's like that's
Yeah.
weird. Because it implies that they're out there just gnashing and
No, right.
that's not it.
No.
Because when you go into the woods or the forest or whatever you want to call it, it is one of the most calm places
Yeah.
to walk into, and it's full of what we call wild animals.
Right.
So, and you can hear them sometimes rustling and doing whatever, but they don't attack you.
Yes.
Whereas in the human construct, this human body,
Yeah.
if we see something in that environment that we want, we are automatically trying to figure out a way to destroy it.
Yes.
So
Awful.
what is that difference? I mean, you talked about it in the beginning that it's this, it's our intellect and our freedom, the choice.
Right.
But why do we choose always to hurt the ant? That's what I don't understand. Like, here's this wonderful deer in the woods, minding its own business, and somebody has to go hunt it. And that makes no logical sense to me.
Yes, yes. I cannot tell you how passionate I feel about it, to where I wrote in the book against hunting. I'm like, really? You're ambushing some innocent animals for a thrill? Get a Corvette or something. So, yeah, really, in regard to the harshness, that's the problem of the harshness. I can try. Our harshness, again, ego is an important concept because it's not a word, it's an energy that resides within human being, and it's a byproduct of who we are as human beings. That is why the collective ego lead the world right now. And then you see where that led us. I mean, the world is upside down. And unfortunately, a byproduct of the world being upside down or negative is taking it on animals. There's no respect to them. There's no care for them. Look at the cruelty that's going on. I cannot even kill a spider. I'm going to walk 45 minutes to move the spider out. Calmly and peacefully, Michael, and look for the perfect area for it. So, yeah. Well, so again,
yeah, you're right. And the other thing, I love what you said earlier, because I don't want to miss this, that every creation is connected to the divine purpose. It is connected to, and again, we're learning this with bees. Oh, let's get rid of the bees. We don't like the bees. Spray this stuff. And now we're like, oh my gosh, the bees. We need the bees. It's like you always needed the bees. That's why
good for you. Good girl. Good for you. Bees, first of all you need to ask is very gently, can you move a little bit? Because you know those girls that scream. I say, why you scream? Just don't scream.
And they're waving their hands, and the bee keeps coming because you're basically saying, "Here I am."
Exactly. So just ask it to move. Beautiful. We have, of course, Clayton is kind of a beekeeper, so we have about 4 or 5 different bees. Oh yeah, God, I love them so. They're so delightful and so wonderful. So again, when you ask us to the harshness, the cruelty, the hunting for sport, you kill another human being that have an amazing mission to be there. So very much relate to what you said. So again, the way we're going to change it is like talk like that. And that's why I will talk about my book to anyone that want to hear it. And I believe that slowly, with the grace of God, with the help of other light being, I'm hoping that we're going to tilt the scale from the collective ego that leads, see where's that going to lead us, to the collective soul that lead the way. A lot of people ask if I think it's going to happen. Of course it will. It's take a long time because the world is very, very harsh right now. Animals help us to do that. Hopefully, even one person that watching today's show and kind of look at their pets a little bit different, kind of look a little bit how unbelievable they are. Here is another individual energy that contributed to the collective of the soul. So eventually it will tilt away. We're going to go through some more heartache, because heartache, unfortunately, is what push us human beings to change. Otherwise, we do nothing. We just say no change. But yeah. So as for nature, amazing. You know, of course, we live in nature. Even when we go to town, it feels too noisy to me right now. Obviously, we need to do shopping. So love nature is amazing. I tell people meditate in nature, visit nature. It doesn't mean you have to go to the Himalayas. Just go to a park or even a patio, be out in nature. We also more receptive in nature, because when we're in nature, Gaia, our Mother Earth, adjusts our energy. So nature have an unbelievable benefits.
Well, and the other is that nature itself shows us the natural order of things.
Yes.
And my indigenous brothers and sisters who I've had the honor of learning from and continue to learn from, they reminded me that they reminded me that they're always thanking with gratitude the earth for allowing things to grow. When they would kill for food, they would thank the animal for its sacrifice, for its nutrition.
Yes.
That they were not just going out there willy. The reason we don't have buffalo is because it was the Europeans that came and annihilated the buffalo. There would have been plenty of buffalo because the indigenous folks did not kill them like that. And even when they did for their coats or whatever, they thanked the animal for sacrifice for their well-being. And there's something about that, because who wants to eat frightened food? Think about that.
Yes. Very much so, very much so. For most of my life, I used to think no hunting at all, because really my thought was, well, there's food in the stores. It's already full. Why you keep more animals? And then I guess, I kind of switched my view that if you live rural Alaska, maybe you can kind of kill, I guess, kind of, but it just again, the break my heart is to the ambush the animal, and they dare to call it for sport. And really, it caused me such deep sadness. I'm already sensitive with animals, so really, really deep sadness. So the only thing I escape to is knowing when the soul exits the body. There is no suffering when we exit the body. Of course, human being or animals, animals have great amount of support into the transition into the spirit world. So it's actually quite a soothing process to the soul. So that's the only thing I can think about. But it's important also to say, because a lot of people tell me sometimes my pets died alone, they lost, and I say, no, we don't die alone. This is the mercy of the Creator that loves us all equally. So there is great love in regard to the transition of leaving the body. Painful nonetheless, however, of course, as we covered.
Oh yes, because the flesh holds all kinds of things, and so many people die And though for those who die peacefully, it's a beautiful thing to watch, though, because some of
Yes,
the things
yes.
that you're talking about when I worked in the hospice field, that I would see that people, um, the weeks before and the nights before they would pass, they would look and start telling me, "Don't
Yes.
you see this person or that person?"
Oh, I love,
And
yes,
those
very much
people
so.
had gone before them, and
Yes, yes,
you know, it gives me goosebumps now,
yes,
and it was like that was giving them peace. And shortly after all those visitations happened,
yes,
the person
yes.
would pass.
Yes, very much so. It's often the departed loved one who fill up the room, departed pet. And even if we look at our living pets, look how they look around.
Oh, I
I
know.
mean, I have one of the cats, which it's interesting. You mentioned that connection with the horse. So of course, I love all my kids
Yeah,
equally, my animal kids. But two of them, I just can just eat him alive. So one of them, Rocco, my cat. Uh, um, it's undescribable as to the love, but specifically him, not only he look around, it's so obvious that he's kind of examining, and I'm like, what are you seeing, Rocco?
I
So
do.
they, I know, just, yeah, so they see that. So yes, we see it at the time of death, but animals see that throughout their life, which why at the beginning I said, although it's said that indeed we lose animals, they still see their sibling, they still see around, but that is their powerful gift. Of course, we can learn how to do that as well, but it's come natural to them and don't need to study it.
Right. Well, and they're not distracted by what we have been told. You know, those of us, I was thinking about it this morning, that how can people not understand even the science? If you take the science of there's a gentleman, his name is Terrence Howard, he's an actor, but he's now studying and just lifting his spirit higher and higher. And I watched him, and he was talking about just even the fact that we say one times one is one,
Yes,
and that's not possible.
yes,
You cannot multiply into the same thing, and
exactly.
and so because it's not even scientifically in the order. So somewhere along the line, somebody
Yes,
decided to teach us that one times one is one, so that we would have a binary code that could be manipulated for the very mode that we're looking at this computer and all of that. Because
right,
one times one should be two.
right, right,
And
right.
so therefore, if you begin to think about those things and really think, even the way we're made with the our DNA, the DNA
Yes,
itself, I love that he did this. We have a sound. Those
yes,
those things have a sound to them.
yes,
So we that's why we love music. It
yes,
doesn't, people move
yes,
to music.
yes,
But then we dummy people, that part of ourselves, down generation after generation, and the part that is of the spirit,
yes,
we don't push it up
right,
to say, what about another possibility? What about,
right,
and it doesn't mean that you don't, I think that people think it has to be one or the other. So
right,
I can't be a spiritual person and still go to church and believe in God and Jesus.
right,
Da, da, da. And the answer
right.
to that is that's not true.
Exactly. Well, Jesus is wonderful. Jesus is wonderful. A lot of people, funny enough, they say, but really, Miki, you a medium? I'm like, yes. So when I bring Jesus, so it's a shame. It's kind of all mixed in. They're separated too. Jesus was a beautiful ascended master, very, very elevated soul that entered into planet Earth in that era, essentially to spread spirituality. So if you know how to read what he said, beautiful. So Jesus is very much in the spirit world, very much help us humanity. So again, if you read it, no, I'm not, I'm that religion, and therefore Jesus is not here. Very, very, again, it's all ego, it's all, also what you were mentioning about spirituality, the more we open to the concept is of that unbelievable supreme being, God or the creator or whatever we want to call it, the more open we are to the magical of things, the more open we are that he is in everything, including within our body. So really, it's an unlimited expansion once you open for it. A lot of people don't. A lot of people need the religion because this is kind of a little bit more structure. So that is fine. They love God the same way we love God. Look at it a little bit different. So, of course, spirituality is non-judgmental. So again, which why we both mentioned that we have nothing against religion. But if you to pass it, then it's a whole new way of looking at the world beautifully. And that's when the expansion starts. Just lovely, including how we look at it.
I love it. When I went to Bali many years ago now, I need to go back. It's my soul place. I realize it is my soul
nice.
place. That I was sitting with a sage and we were talking and he was passing on great wisdom to me. And I asked him about Christianity and Jesus and all of that. And it was so cute because he got this loving look on his face. And he said, you need to really read the stories of Jesus again. And I said, okay. And you know, of course, a 12-hour flight going back to the States, I read it again. And I realized that Jesus was a mystic. Jesus was a sage. Jesus was a prophet. Jesus was a spirit, the highest level of spiritual being, because he didn't allow himself to hold on to these human constructs that said, hate this person, hate, and that the very choices that he made was to show us love, and to show that love is a manifestation of always lifting up, always lifting up.
Yes.
I believe we wouldn't have racism and genderism and all of these things if we were truly following this this ideology of love. And I find it really hard because the majority of people that they claim that they see and they understand the life, whatever it is in their faith, they go out into the world and they can be the cruelest people.
Yes.
The cruelest people. And
you know what I always said is that to go to Sunday church and be a rotten human being all week, it's an insult to God.
That's right. That's right, Miki. Yes.
Yes, very much so, very much so. Whatever you believe, I mean, really, and unfortunately, the world is filled with that. So again, we're not doing good as human race, as we can see. Of course, we're not talking just this country; we're talking about the globe. But very sad. Yeah, very sad. Jesus is unbelievable. I always including him in my meditation. I always visualize him, but again, there's so many interpretation of him. Every religion kind of have the description about him, where in fact he was just an elevated spiritual teacher. Beautiful. Still is, of course. So you see, that's one example how we're discussing today, bringing Jesus, that he is as spiritual as they come. And unfortunately, I believe is that religion gave him a different interpretation, but he's really wonderful. Wonderful.
Oh, yes. Tell us about your farm and your animals, your animals, because I don't want to run out of time without hearing them.
I can't even tell you. I mean, it's just my dream. I feel very grateful. So we live about an hour and a half north of San Diego, and we have 3 acres and all the animals. But it's a lot of work because the problem is that we have different. We have horses, cats, dog, tortoises, parrot. A pet sitter, Michael. It's like, okay, I can only do that, but I don't do that. So it's busy home. But God, it's delightful. It's delightful. I always tell people in the evening when Clayton and we each get a couch and all the animals just stretch out and my heart is full. I always loved animal. I came to this incarnation. This is my purpose. I remember I was maybe a 7-year-old that I got a poster and put it in my room, and it was in a barn, and there was a horse and a donkey, and so I kind of fulfilled that, if you will. So I'm very, very, very blessed. We really love the animals, really love.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
love that. And then your book, is your book available now? People can get your book to read? Because I definitely want to. Is it on Amazon? Is it
Of
how do we
course.
get it?
So a lovely thing, actually, I just heard this week that the book won in Next Generation Indie Book Award.
Oh wow!
So
Congratulations.
yeah, I know. So I was very happy about that. It's one in the new age category.
Okay.
So but it is available on Amazon, Sacred Wild. And if people want a signed book, they can go to my website, which is
Oh,
Miki Jacobs, Jacobs, and I can sign the book.
okay.
But .com, yeah. But
And then
yeah,
there's other services. I mean, you are in service to the world. You are in service to I love that because that's how I feel. I feel like I'm in service.
oh yeah,
Here, I have the honor of being here to walk in the lives with these folks that are living with dementia. But I also I'm not rich. I don't have a whole lot, but I am rich. I am abundantly rich because every day when I leave here, I know that I haven't hurt. I haven't done
yes,
harm. I've
yes,
attempted, because I'm human. I make mistakes. I've
yes,
attempted to take the world to a higher level. I mean, why
yes,
this podcast
yes.
exists. So there are other things that, because I was on your website, there are
Wow.
other services or opportunities that you have for people to connect with you. Would you tell them what those are and how they
Of
can
course.
connect?
Of course. So I still do readings. So there's schedule an appointment there. I connect to departed loved one, but also my type of reading is doing a lot of life advice. Departed pets often enter a reading. I'm ready to create event based on Sacred Wild, based on the book. I do a lot of interviews, such as yourself, to spread the book message out there. So I do what I refer to as angel chat, which is free, kind of 10 minutes reading, 10 minutes video I do about maybe once a week or so. And I choose all kind of spiritual topics, animals and not animals. So, when you were talking about serving, remember how we started that we are a part of God, the soul drawn to be more like God. And what's a better way to do than serve? So I always tell people, choose anything that's close to your heart, because people sometimes say, well, you medium, you help people. No, choose anything that's close to your heart. Volunteer once a month, anything that's close to your heart. And if you cannot, you can do it with money as well. But serving is what we are, the soul. Serving would project energy of love, would project an intention. And if enough of us do that, once again, we're going to go, hopefully, to tilt the scale from the collective of ego to the collective of soul. And that's when change starts to happen.
And this is the other thing I've learned. It gives you an open spirit to others. I find I don't care where I've gone. I'm really bad at language. For some reason, my head doesn't hear them. Um, um, uh, I guess I don't know why. I took French for years, and I can't speak a lick of it. But wherever I have gone, that has never been a barrier. And I think that's why I always say to people, don't make that such a big deal. Show up and lean in. I've gone to places where I've needed an interpreter, of course, but when we sat down and smiled and leaned in, walked away feeling like, oh my gosh, this is my friend forever. I have friends in Cuba. When I went to Cuba, I don't speak Spanish. No Spanish. And we still talk to each other. I mean, yes, we use Google Translator and all of that kind of stuff.
Yes.
But the relationship started non-verbal. It was here.
Yes, yes.
And
so the energy, of course.
Yeah,
so it's the energy,
energy.
It's the energy. And it's interesting, you say I study French and who cannot practice it. I barely finished high school. So it just wasn't my thing. I was really not a good student, but it's all about energy. It's all about giving. Again, the more spiritual inclined we are, the more we understand what we really need to do. And
Yeah.
it's important because people say, so what should I do with spirituality? Knowledge is very important. Fill up your intellect with spiritual knowledge, the correct spiritual knowledge. Maybe follow teachers that resonate with you. So I every day contribute to my spiritual knowledge, because what spiritual knowledge does, whether it is books or podcasts or classes or video, it's merely awaken our memory of who we are. Because when I present an event, I said that at the beginning, as a spiritual teacher, I don't bring anything new. Meaning all the information should resonate with people. And if people come to spiritual event or spiritual video, usually it would the information would sit right with you. So what spiritual knowledge does is kind of keep us grounded, remind us who we are, whether a book about souls, life after death, animals, souls, and essentially help us remain connected. Without that, here come the ego, here come the mind, we'll be floating around. Also important to mention real quick that the collective energy of humanity right now, which is negative, affect us individuals. That's why in my work, I see more and more teenagers want to bail out, babies have more tantrum, couples have affairs, and mess. So what we need to do is we need to make sure we align as much as we can with the soul within the body. Nature would do that. Music would do that. Music is magical. It's lift our vibrational energy to a higher frequency. Be good and do good.
Yeah, be good and do good.
Be good, that's it. Be good and do good. And then that energy would project to the collective, which once again, eventually will tilt it.
And you can flip it. I used to say, clothes, be the change. You have to be the change instead of constantly pointing finger at other people and asking them to change, because people will change in spite of themselves if you bring just love. There are a couple of people right now, Sister, I'm gonna call you Sister Miki, because you are definitely the sister.
Thank you so much.
That, they're in my life because of whatever I'm doing, work, whatever. But I know they don't like me, right? I know they have no desire to like me whatsoever. If anything, I could go so far as to say I can feel their energy, that if they could, they would do me harm, right? Okay. I feel it, I know it. But I don't walk into spaces with them because it's mandatory because of the work.
Yes.
With that assumption in mind. I walk in with my force field of love on.
Yes.
And over time, while in fact the relationships haven't changed, the way we work together has.
Wow, nice.
Right? So it's not like they're going to invite me to their house or their birthday parties or anything like that. They're not going to do that.
Yes.
And we show up for the work.
Yes.
Because on both sides, we've transcended this whatever this yuckiness is, that's in the middle, this vibration. Because that's what it is, you guys. It's going like this instead of having a natural sort of, I'm still able to get the work done. And I believe that is of the spirit. Right? That it's like, no, they're not going to be your best friend.
Right.
And you have to understand from time to time, they're going to say things that, but don't worry about it.
Yes.
Love them anyway.
Yes.
Because there's a difference between love and like.
Right.
And keep it moving, because your purpose is this.
Yes.
And wow.
Yeah. Right. You know, the wow, because what's happened is when we continue to project the loving energy, it's inevitably help assist the other person. I see that among couple a lot of time that coming in, you know, once one kind of shifting, whether not reaction, whether know how to align with the soul, it's inevitably affecting the other people, the other person, because it is an energy. The same thing go if two ego energy together, forget it. Yes, and that's where explosion coming. So yeah, so this is that's exactly, so you do the right thing beautifully, you continue to do that, you continue. As for having other people, it's the nature of Maya, which is the material world. Not everyone would like us, not everyone would have our same opinion, because
Yeah.
it's designed like that. It's designed like that. It's designed for us to kind of bring our own opinions, and eventually it's designed for us to be able to truly and authentically put ourselves in their shoes.
Yeah.
Once we put ourselves in others' shoes, then it's mesh well and a love still coming. And the moment it's split and divided, we are in the midst of a collective lesson, humanity, which why the world is upside down. We have to be, because again, human species, the human form is harsh, the mind is harsh, and we need a major shakeup to wake up. And we will eventually will, and we are in the midst of it. So people like us, I like to spread the message that we should continue to do what we do and kind of project different type of energy.
Friends, Miki Jacobs is an internationally acclaimed medium, speaker, and author. She has a book called Soul Secrets, another book that recently is out called Sacred Wild, the Spiritual World of Animals, including pets, and its interconnectedness with others. She also has a website that you need to go look. I just put her name in, Miki Jacobs, and there it was. So that's the power of Google. Uh, and just, you know, as I live and breathe on this planet, and I'm so thankful and with great gratitude that I'm here this morning and made it through my dream state of night.
Yes.
The reality is, folks, we cannot do any of this alone. And the shift of being at peace and being still in the world is so important.
Yes.
Miki Jacobs talks about this. Like I said, I really looked at her website, some of her public speaking, some of it, and she talks about this, but it resonates with me because she really focuses on this gift given to us with living in coexisting, because that's what it is, coexisting with animals. And so please, you know, if you are someone that wants to do more work on this, you want to do more research, you don't have to change your beliefs, you know, don't get it all twisted and get your mind all discombobulated. But you know what? A part of the journey is to gain knowledge,
Yes.
and wisdom. And it's not doesn't all come from one place. Yes. I believe that the jewels of our existence are all over the world. Yes. And in order to do that, we have to travel the world. Yes. We also have to travel with each other.
Yes.
That's why life is sacred, friends. And yes. I want to thank Miki Jacobs. I'm going to ask her to stay on for a few minutes while we close. Miki, thank you so much. And give Clayton our love and thank him for everything that he's doing. And I am excited about the bees.
How cute.
I'm excited about the bees.
Yeah, Clayton said the rescues bees, even the bees.
Yes. If you are someone out there that wants to explore more, please go to Miki Jacobs' website. And again, we always close the podcast this way. If you are someone on this planet that hears this podcast, that hears my words, and you feel sad, you feel lonely, you feel that your life is not worth living, I want you to know I've been there. I've been there. But there was someone who gave me a hand up. There was somebody who looked at me and said, "You matter." And just in that moment, I realized that life was worth fighting for.
Yes.
So if you don't have that person in your life, find a phone, find a computer, and text whatever 988. It is a group of people on the other end that will, the hotline, that will help you through this time. This world is tipsy-turvy, turned upside down. And you're feeling a vibration of that, as well as whatever has occurred in your life. But we would know.
Yes.
You left us. The world would know. We would know that you did not live out your purpose. And I'm telling you, just dial 988 so that you have an opportunity to make it to the other side. And this moment will pass if you find the right resources. You are loved by Life is a Sacred Journey by Miki Jacobs. You are loved. And your life matters to us. So please call 988 and get the help that you need. And I hope the sun shines for you in the next moment, the next hour, the next day, and then the next years, because it's a beautiful sun. And when you look up at it, it gives you so much power. So don't take your life, friends. Don't take your life. Your life is way too sacred, way too precious, even if you haven't been told that. And Miki Jacobs is an example of that as well. So have a great weekend. You know what I always tell you: pet a cat, pet a dog, go out into nature, hug a tree.
Yeah.
If you hug a tree, I'm telling you, your life will be changed. And don't hug it like you do people for a few seconds and let go.
Yeah.
Hug the tree, okay?
Right.
And hold on to it so it can talk to you and pass on some good vibration. All right, friends, it's a Memorial Day weekend. Be safe out on the roads and know that you are wonderfully and magnificently made. You have all the tools you need, and we just need to get them people out your way so you can live your best life. Join me in thanking Miki Jacobs for joining me this morning, joining you this morning, and go out and make this the best day that you can make it and be the best you that you can be. It's a long journey, so take your time, take baby steps. Okay, be well, everybody.